one thing I wanted to ask you, Pastor, is that what is the importance of the happiness of a wife in a home? Why is it so important?
That she has to be happy.
Yes.
Well, I think, it's maybe a bit unfair to say, but why must the wife be happy? The wife can only be happy if the husband keeps her happy.
Okay.
And you see, and the husbands have a because they're the leader, because he was first.
Yes.
You see, he's seen as the leader.
Okay.
And in any sphere of business today, in relationships, and people that take the lead, the husbands must take the lead. And number one, if men must understand that if they are created by God, then what they're doing and what they're managing must be in a God-given style. So therefore, if God is love, as Felicity so rightly said, and God has given us a wife,
Okay.
which is love. God gives His love to us in the form of a feminine part,
Okay.
the husband. Now the husband should honor that. And by honoring that, he's loving God and he's loving his wife and he's loving the kids when they come.
Okay.
And love can never be separated from one of those things. And I
Yes.
think that is what's wrong in today's life. That the love part and the honoring part has been removed. Because men, unfortunately, I have to say that I'll get into trouble for this, we become egotistical about the positions that we fill.
Yes. Now, what if we are in a case whereby, let's say for instance, there is someone here that is in a relationship or is in a marriage, and then the husband doesn't make her happy. Should she wait one day for the husband to make her happy? What is it that she can do on her own to be happy?
She can't do anything on her own, really, because she married her husband, because they formed a bond, and they became one. You see, so she can't do anything on her own to be happy. They've got to work this thing out together, because if she's going to do it on her own, she's going to become independent of what she's doing.
Okay.
You see, the marriage is two people dependent on each other.
Mm-hmm.
The husband, if in a marriage, it's a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And in a relationship with even girl meets boy, it's a relationship.
Yes.
You understand? So they must be able to share each other's hearts, share each other's feelings, share each other's interests. Everything that's in this thing, they have to share with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Then they won't do things individualistic. It's when they start doing things individualistic, they allow the people. I think this big thing about girls go out on their own and boys go out on their own, and then men go out on their own and wives go out on their own, and then there's a third party that gets involved, and then I think the inspector sitting next to me, she understands, she'll probably tell us a lot more about that, and that's where all these wrong things start. But the most important thing is that if we understand the originality of where this relationship, marriage comes from the God who created us, then we will not get this thing wrong. But what happens? We take God out of the equation, and then all these other things go wrong for us.
Okay, well, I understand what you're saying. Coach, what do you have to say about happiness? You are in a field whereby you counsel women as well as men in your cycle. Why do you think it is so important for women to be able to find peace or to find happiness?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a bit difficult.
Scratching his head.
Because the human being is a very complex and difficult creature to be able to understand. I'm of a different opinion.
Okay.
I think we probably jumped a bit too far. If a person is to find happiness in marriage, this is according to how I look at it, there is going to be a problem, because I must find happiness being by myself.
Within you first.
Yeah, I must be able. Why am I here? Who am I? And many a times people don't know. They don't define who they are. And I've always said in some of my talks, I've had women who say, my husband is not making me happy.
Yes.
But just like pastors, it takes two to tango.
Yes.
It's not somebody who's specifically assigned to make the other happy. They both, as Pastor had said, they both have a responsibility. Allow me to say this. My finding with most women, they get into marriage not knowing who they are.
Okay.
They get into relationships not knowing who they are.
And with wrong reasons.
And they need probably to identify themselves.
Oh, okay.
Because if I am thinking I'm going to be happy when I get married. When I'm not happy when I'm alone, it really doesn't work. Because you're actually going to strain somebody.
Yes.
But because I don't get into marriage to be complete. I get into marriage when I'm already full.
Yes.
But then I realize, according to what Pastor says, God said it is not good to be alone.
Yes.
Because there is the dynamics of partnership that comes in, which cannot be found when you're alone. But there is happiness which comes as a result of finding who I am.
Yes.
Because I can give an example in my talk to different cultures in terms of couples and females and men. It is always the problem. I mean, you find probably the other still not knowing why they are in marriage.
Yes.
And many think they are in marriage maybe just for sex. Many think they are in marriage just the husband to make him happy when making love. But if you look at making love, it takes two to tango.
Yes.
You're not making love to a local. So you both have to be creative. So I think we need to look at this individual called a woman before she gets married. What is her mindset? What type of lifestyle is she living?
Yes.
And most people get married because they are bored. They need somebody to entertain them. I have friends, I see some status on WhatsApp or on Facebook, I say, who is awake? I'm bored.
Okay.
That person is not a good candidate for marriage because they don't know what to do with themselves and with their time. Because if they get into marriage, they would freak out if the husband doesn't call, or the husband would freak out if the wife doesn't call, because both of them, they got married thinking my happiness depends on this man.
Yes.
When God said to Adam, it's not good for you to be alone, it doesn't mean Adam was not happy. He needed a different type of happiness that comes with the partnership.
True.
Adam would wake up every day and he would see the creatures he had named. He was happy.
Yes.
But there was another kind of a happiness. So this kind of a happiness which comes as a result of a partnership, it can only connect with you with the happiness that you have already found with yourself. You can never be happy until you find what makes you good.
Yes.
I found out when I talk to clients, I ask them, give me 5 things in your past life that are good. And give me 5 things in your past life that are bad.
Yes.
Majority find 10 in the past that are bad. 1 that is good. So you can already see the balance is not good. They have a baggage of pain through with them. And that person is not they will take the pain into the marriage. And instead of them getting happy, there's going to be some squabbles. They probably have an idea of John they dated, and they still are relating to Peter as thinking it's John. So this woman must be able to answer the question, who am I?
Yes.
Why am I here?
Define yourself.
Define yourself. That's why you find, even when it comes to career, you find some people don't know what they have to do in a career, what job they want to do. So when we define ourselves, know who we are, know why I am here,
yes,
then I'm easy to be able to understand the demands of happiness in a marriage, because I'm not just a spectator in the happiness, I'm also involved.
Yes. Inspector Simaho, you are in a center whereby you deal with gender-based violence almost every minute of your life at work. What are the results? What are the results of unhappiness?
You know, there are a lot of contributing factors concerning looking for love, for happiness.
Yes.
Some come of very wrong reasons, like Pastor said, like tortured. Some come of to be status, to be married. Some come there to be seen, I'm wearing a white dress. Some come there to material things, you know. So there are a lot of contributing factors. Say, for instance, the time you got married to your husband, maybe my husband got money.
Yes.
And time goes on, money got finished.
Yes.
No, it's the happiness there.
Yeah.
Because they said when the money goes out in the front door, the love goes out in the back doors. So really there are a lot of contributing factors. And the fact that some of us think that if I get married, I will be happy, but of wrong reasons.
Yes.
And that's where we said gender-based started.
Yes. So what you're trying to tell us is that gender-based violence can start from being an unhappy wife, being not knowing what you want, and then trying to get what you think you want, what you think you know you want, and then you get yourself in trouble with gender-based violence.
Yes, because you are looking for happiness.
Yes.
In your marriage. And what you think that will make me happy will not make your partner happy again.
Yes.
Because you are coming from two different backgrounds.
Yes.
We have got, like I said, different contributing factors. Even our culture norms is also playing a very big role. Our beliefs play a very big role. How you grow up in the house of a single parent, of mother and father, there are a lot of contributing factors. So if you get married, you must know what you are looking for, like Coach said.
Yes.
And you must be settled for it. That's why I always tell my victims is the company that when you go for the marriage, and when you stand there in front of the altar, or front of the court, and you are so happy because you are getting married now,
Yes.
and you even forgot what was the verse the pastor read the particular day. You forget it. You can ask them now, they don't know. And then you just want this one to finish, you get your ring and you forget about it. But you forget that you make a promise through thin and
thin.
thick, richness and poorness. But when the poorness comes,
You want to run.
run to woman and child. When health is there, you forget to pray. And when the poorness come in, you run to woman and child.
Yes.
Gender-based violence. That's where it started.
You've mentioned a very important element, prayer. Why is prayer so important for a wife?
You know, without God, like they said, without God there's nothing.
Yes.
And always said that the third party in your marriage must be God.
Yes.
The third party must be God.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, because we are looking for our third partners
Somewhere else.
somewhere else. And then shoppings, get a third party. We can give you that love,
That
we can give you
happiness of
that
the
happiness
moment.
you are looking for. So that's where we are like Pastor said, it's we are lucky. We have to educate our people, our memes, our moms, that we must invite God as our third party in our marriage.
Okay, very important. Did you guys take note? Make sure that God is the center of your relationship. Otherwise, it's not going to work out.
Just to come in, one of the most important things about a human being is to be able to know what you like.
Yes.
Because I've dealt with couples and they don't have fun. I mean, she likes probably to play volleyball. You need to know these things because happiness is what you do.
Yes.
It's different from joy. Joy comes as a result of just within depth of your heart. But happiness is something you create
Okay.
yourself. If she loves basketball or volleyball, you have to learn to develop the interest of your partner. I like rugby, and maybe she says, I don't even like rugby. You know, you are literally destroying the potential of being happy between the two of you.
Yes.
So if you don't play together, you can never be happy.
Yes.
Joy comes from God, but happiness comes from what you two do.
Yes.
So I've found couples who don't even know what each other person likes. They don't have an interest in developing the interest of what the other does.
Yes.
That's when you see people who are in marriage or in a relationship, they end up becoming as one. You find, I didn't like basketball, but because of her, I like basketball.
Yes.
She now knows Scrum, about rugby. She knows everything. What you're basically doing is you're creating that happiness.
Yes.
So you need to know what are your hobbies. And learn to develop that happiness between the two of you. I've talked to couples who tell me, hey, but I've never been given a birthday card. I'm surprised. I've never had a flower. These are the things that create happiness.
Yes.
There should be an understanding between happiness and joy. God has given us the creativity to be able to create happiness.
Yes.
I mean, when we watch a movie, it brings happiness.
us happy.
When we go watch rugby, it brings happiness. But joy is something that comes as a result of our relationship with God. So majority of the people, their creativity kind of maybe has been damaged. They probably really don't know how to make it happen. And as long as there's no play in this marriage, it doesn't matter how prayerful you can be.
Yes.
Believe you me, you need to engage. Because in prayer, you're not playing.
Now, after prayer, there is work to do.
You need to be able to play, to find stuff that you can do together. So you find couples who have no interest in each other's hobbies.
Yes.
It is difficult to have happiness in that platform.
Yes, it's actually it's a very important point that you mentioned. As couples, you need to find your time together. Do what the other one like. Next time you do what the other one likes. It helps you bond together. It's just the same thing that Christine, you were telling us when we were up there that you and your husband. You said you and your husband go jogging.
No, yes. We started a fitness challenge together as of the beginning of the year. And it's not something that we felt like we needed to see a difference in our physicality. chemistry. We're both still very attracted to one another, no matter how. If weight is involved, but it's a physical challenge. We started together a fitness challenge to see one competing with the other. How many kgs you lose this week? How many kgs did you lose that week? And we motivate one another, and we high five one another, and we have fun with this idea now with one another. And it's not so much of a shallow thing of like, oh, we're trying to lose weight together. No, it's a fitness challenge we're doing together to have fun with one another, because with a stressful day of work and family issues, everything else that comes with life, this is just something we have a little fun with this year. Maybe next year it will be something else, but from January we said, hey, you think of a number in your head of how many kgs you'd like to, because I said I'd be interested to get some holiday weight off. And he said the same, and he said, let's make this a challenge and let's make it fun between us. So that's what we've been doing for 8 months now, and wow. We chat with one another. If he's in Rundu, I'm in Windhoek. If we're physically apart, we're still on the same team, and we're still having fun with one another, even though there's a physical distance between us.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. That's fine now.
One another, and it's very encouraging. I encourage him, he encourages me. I say, good job, good going, or if you cheated a little bit on the weekend and had more cake, it's okay, you deserve it. Let's hit it again Monday. So it's something that's keeping us having fun with one another, like you said. Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. What I've learned from you is that commitment is also a very big part that plays in a marriage. You need to be able to decide something together, and you both need to work on it, on committing it.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Felicity, I wanted to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you had to choose happiness over sadness? A lot of times, say?
Yes, because at the end of the day, happiness is a choice you make.
Yes.
It's a personal choice.
Mm-hmm.
We are faced with challenges, we are faced with circumstances, but you choose if you're going to stay in it,
mm-hmm.
or if you're going to come out of it.
Yes.
And with me having kids around me most of the time, they notice and they see sadness when I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them to, sadness is going to be there, but I don't want them to grow up in a house where that's all they see. Or that's what mom always shows.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
We keep it in, we choose to be happy even if it eats us up inside,
mm-hmm.
but then do it for the sake of the next person, being your kids also.
Okay.
So I've been faced with a lot of situations where I was sad, but then I had to choose happiness above sadness.
Which is very important, because from my own point of view is you have to choose happiness regardless of the situation, because it's actually for your own good, not only for the next person. It starts with you. It's good for you first, and then it's good for you second, for the husband, and thirdly for the children or the people that are living around you. Now, one thing that I have picked up from the people that has sadness or that did not choose to be happy is that they're actually very grumpy. You find them, they always use little tantrums around. You find them, they're very short-tempered. Is that correct, Coach? You, from a psychological point of view, can you please tell us more about what sadness does to a person? With sometimes I've also realized that they actually don't know that what they're doing is wrong, or that they're actually killing themselves inside unknowingly.
One of the things I found out is that human beings are very emotional people.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, human beings have become very toxic. Toxic to themselves,
mm-hmm.
toxic to people around them, toxic to people they love, toxic to people who care about them. It is because of the baggages that we pick along the journey of life.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find people don't know how to handle sickness.
Yes.
The reactions is out of anger, the reactions is out of bitterness. If you look around the street, you find people talking by themselves in an angry mood.
Yes.
And you find somebody buying something by the shop. The person who's selling them is trying by all means to be right, but you find them already swearing and angry. It's a clear sign that they're toxic. They probably need to detoxicate a lot of this stuff. But when you get into a relationship in such an environment, you contaminate your relationship. There's nothing that is as bad as to bring bad baggage into the relationship.
From another relationship.
Yes. Many a times people are not ready to get into a relationship because they're carrying wounds which they have not dealt with. They're carrying anger, and the anger which was supposed to be expressed to Peter is now expressed to Herbert because it was locked in. So basically, yeah, you'll find people really struggle with these emotional baggages. I'm listening to her. That's a very therapeutic experience. I mean, if you don't have fun, a lot of the things that people seek psychological counseling for, they can be get done with by having some fun, because human beings are meant to play.
Yes.
Just imagine before what Pastor said, Adam was alone. Was he not playing? He was playing. He was having fun with the animals.
Yes.
So if Adam did not have fun by himself, there was no way he was going to have fun with Eve. So many a times we need to be able to come to a point where we connect with ourselves and we learn to relate with ourselves baggage free.
Yes. Pastor wants to add something onto it. It's becoming very interesting now.
Yeah, look, what I want to just add on to that there, and I get it excites me as much as it does him as well, because and if we go back, there's something that we must not admit to here, which is part of God's plan. In Genesis 2:24, it says, "For a man will leave his mother and his father,
Yes.
and he'll take for him a wife. They will cleave together, and they will become one." Now, when it says they will cleave together, now, if you take the word from Hebrew, cleave means glued in our life today.
Glue, becoming one.
That's one. In other words, then you can do as you said there. You see, I always say to people, your being one, works this way. If he cries, you must cry.
Yes.
If he laughs, you must laugh. That's becoming one. You see, I believe today that that's just become a cliche. Let's just get over and done with this thing in the church here quickly, and we're out of here and we go and do what we want to do. It's doing what you want to do is where this whole cleaving part falls away. Because you see, if you add on to that, Petrina, the Word of God says in Psalm 127 verse 1, it says, if God does not build the house, we build in that house in vain.
Yes.
So every wall we draw, we move it up. And if God is building the house, that means He's the cornerstone. So in today's life, we understand when we look at builders, they build off cornerstone, and that's how they erect their walls. So if we want our marriage to last and a relationship to last, then we got to go back to what I've just said now.
Yes.
Number one, for a man will leave. Now, okay, then now you say, no, but that's the man. No. Then the woman must leave too.
Yes.
Because if the lady doesn't leave and the man leaves, there's something that's left there because then it's not there. You understand what?
Definitely.
So they both must leave, and they both must cleave. And when they cleave together, then only will they become one. And what are we leaving? What are we doing? What are we leaving behind? We're leaving emotions behind.
Yes.
We're leaving physical stuff behind.
Yes.
You understand? Those are the things that we're leaving behind. And when we leave that behind, we become into a new emotional bond with one person. Physically, we could become one person. There's no other person involved here. And when we get that thing and we understand building the house, because the fourth verse of that same psalm says that children are the fruit of the mother's womb. Yes. What fruit do we want?
Yes.
We want fruit that we've just tended to. And those are our children, because our children are going to do what we do. And this, the whole thing will repeat itself if we do not stop it in this situation. You see, so we don't want to give my sister over here more work to do. We want to take work away from her.
Yes.
You understand? And then when we start doing those things, then we honoring God, but we're honoring our wives, and the wives are honoring their husbands, the husbands are honoring their wives, they're honoring their children, the families stay together, and this whole thing is boy meets girl, they happily ever after. That's how they all stay.
How does someone to come along, leave him and get another one, or?
You know, the only advice I give people like that, and that's why the coach is there. That's why I'm here. And what people need to go and find some professional help.
Yes.
If you need the help, and your marriage is important to you, your wife is important to you, and your husband is important to you, your boyfriend is important to you, your girlfriend. You cannot get married if you're not right to get married.
Yes.
You know, there's too many soap things on TV at the moment.
so many soapies.
That-
And we want to
called-
live according to the scenes
causes
and the
a problem.
soapies.
People base their lifestyle on that.
Yes, it's true. Not knowing that this is just a drama that is being played. It's not real life. Because marriage itself is hard work. Hard work upon hard work upon hard work. You can be married for so many years, but you still learn.
You have to work at it.
You have to work out of. You have to work your way in. I spoke to one of very important people in my life, and she was telling me about that. You know what, Petrina? Marriage is very difficult, but it's also not impossible to make it work. If you're in a relationship or if you're in a marriage whereby your spouse is not bringing his side, number one, you should know that as a woman, your obligation, your duty is to love unconditionally. Do good and do good and do good and do good and continue to do good, and do not expect anything in return. Is that correct? You shouldn't do something and expect something in return, because what I've learned from her is that when you do good to your husband, let's say for instance I buy my husband flowers, and I expect that next month he must also buy me flowers because I bought him flowers. And if he doesn't buy me flowers, then I'm all unhappy and all grumpy. Why is it so important that if we do good to our husbands, we do good to anybody in the community, that we shouldn't expect anything in return?
We shouldn't do. Because if we go back to where we started off in this discussion today, is that everything we have comes from God.
Yes.
And most certainly that us as the human race today are not pleasing God every day.
Yes.
I think we sadden him most of the time, but he keeps on doing good. And what we are that duplicate.
Yes.
The copy that he made. We his image and his character, and because we his character and we his image and we love, and he's given us someone to love, we need to love those people that way.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally, because God loves us unconditionally. So we've got to carry that through into our relationships.
But what if this person it's like he's doing it deliberately? Every time I do good, but then he just comes and it's like a step in the back.
Does he still love you though? I mean, that's the point.
That's a good one.
You can't flog a dead horse, you know what I mean? So yeah, you see, love and the coach put it very clearly. Love is a two-way traffic.
Okay.
You, as much as your husband loves you, you have to love your husband.
Yes.
The one can't love more than the other. If you became one, like we just said now, if you've left the past, then what are you still loving in the past if you've left the past?
True.
You understand? So if you've received this new, the Bible says that if you find a wife, then you found a good thing.
Yes.
You understand? So if you found this good thing, where did this good thing come from? It came from God.
Yes.
Because God, in essence, is good. You understand? So if you found the good thing, and you get married, then the marriage is supposed to be good.
Yes.
The conversation must be good. The love must be good. The food that you burn must be good. You understand? That's what it is. Then everything should be good. You know? I mean, that's just how it should work. The unmade bed is good. You see, and you work through the bad things, you work together, so that you work through them together, so that they become one big good thing at the end of the day.
Wow. Wow. Pastor, just before I'm done with you, I want you to define for me, or I want you to tell me, I've heard so many times men talking about women, and they will go like, that one is not wife material. What does that mean? Is there a woman that is not wife material, and is there one that is wife material? If such thing happens, or such thing is in reality, what is it that a wife material woman does, and what is it what a wife that is not material does?
Are you just speaking in general, or are you speaking at people that have been married for a while, or?
In general.
In general.
Is there kind of a woman that is wife material, and the one that is not wife material?
All ladies are wife material.
Okay.
If they allow themselves to be wife material.
Okay. How so?
No, it's true. So, people want to chase a career. Okay, so that. But at the end of the day, we all have been made by one Creator. And all of us have one role to play. If, what I just said just now, if a lady gets married to a man, then she's the wife of the man.
Yes.
Then she must be good material.
Okay.
If she's married to the man, and the man is the husband of the wife, then he must be good material.
Okay.
You understand? So for the husband to say that the wife is not good material, he's chosen wrong.
Yes.
He chose, and his choice in the beginning was not for the right reason. Maybe he saw her wearing a miniskirt. You understand? So and then he thought, well, this luscious, whoa, this is going to be, and then it wasn't that happy. You understand? Because she's still wearing the miniskirt and she's forgotten about the daily chores. You understand?
Yes.
So his mindset was wrong. For you to find wife material, your heart has got a bond with the woman that you're talking to.
Yes.
And when you become one, then you don't look for the wife material. She is the wife material.
True.
If that answers the question.
Definitely you do. Inspector Simao, tell us about society. How does society affect the happiness of marriages or happiness of wives? In today's life, I know that we're comparing our lives to too many people highlights. People has this, let's say for instance, Felicity is pregnant, she goes for a photo shoot with her husband, they're all looking all rosy and nice. Next moment, I also want to be married because I want to go for a photo shoot as well with my husband and my kids, and I want to put it on Facebook. And if my husband says, no, it's not necessarily a child now, it's a fight. How does society affect the happiness of a home?
You know, society is there to judge.
Okay.
Yeah, society is there to judge, and you don't want to be judged. But it depends on the two of you, how are you going to take it? Because happiness also, one of the things which we not mention in happiness is forgiveness.
Yes, true.
You cannot be angry the whole year for a mistake your husband made. Of the mistake you made, like if you not bought the flowers for you this time around, you are angry with him. So forgiveness is playing a very good role. Now coming to community, that is a big thing.
Okay.
Because it happens that something is wrong in this marriage.
Yes.
And you keep it for yourself. You just keep it in the four corners of your house. You don't go for counseling, seeking help, because you are scared what the neighbor says.
Yes.
And that's where most of our women go through abuse, because you don't want the other people to know you are going through abuse. And at the end of the day, if you come if it burst, then you say, oh, so they look happy, they've got also problems.
And when it bursts very bad,
Bursts
very bad. After you've kept it in, it just go boom like an atomic bomb.
Yeah, that's the problem. We are scared to be judged. The judgmental from the society is a very big thing, because we don't want to come out by saying that, no, I've got a problem with my marriage, I will go for professional help, because you don't want to be seen. Because you just hide it in the corners of your house, but at the end of the day, you are the one who is going to suffer.
So true.